Okay, let's leave the markets a little bit. Let's get to what story came out through over the weekend. The June 2016 approval rating of the president in office is what we're talking about next. NOI polls released this over the weekend, stating that the level of approval was about 32%, 39%, 41% say disapprove of how the president's handling his job, while 20% of those surveyed says they are undecided. Let's get more insight into this as we speak to Dr. Bell Ihua, who is the CEO at NOI Polls in Abuja via Skype. Dr. Ihua, thank you very much for coming through on the program. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Bosin. It's my pleasure.
Yes, talk us through these latest polls by your organization. How has this come over a one-year period? The president took office on May 29th last year. So if we say June last year was the first approval rating that we started, it's now 12 months, technically speaking. Talk us through this.
Thanks, Bosin. NOI Polls, as you know, has been conducting opinion polls since for over 3 years now. We've been conducting monthly presidential approval rating. We conducted for the last administration, and we're still carrying on with the monthly rating for this current administration.
Yeah, what does the latest reading reveal over the last 1 year?
The reading over the last 1 year shows that at the initial months of June, July, August, September down to December in 2015, there was significant support and approval for the president. But we observed that as the months went on, and especially from January to currently, there have been a decline in the approval rating of the president, with his current June approval rating at 39%.
In terms of what are the parameters that you gave out as the basis for this rating?
Okay, I mean, this is first of all statistically significant samples, and what we observed was that there's been a trend. So a strong base of the president in the early surveys has sort of deepened over time. So in the Northeast, for example, where the president used to rank 94%, is currently down to 59. In the North Central, where he used to rank also 94, 92%, is currently 61. And then even in the North Central, where he's used to, score 81%, is now 34%. Now, but looking at the indicators, he was also scored on individual indicators. National security, for example, he scored about 48%, corruption 45%, conflict resolution, when you talk about the herdsmen and the farmers crisis, for example, he scored 28%, agriculture 21%, health 20%, education 18%, the economy 15%, infrastructure 13%, job creation 13%, poverty alleviation 11%. Interestingly, I've been on the field for the past 2 weeks. I'm speaking to Nigerians. So far traveled to Maiduguri, Damaturu, Yola, Jalingo, Kanu, Kaduna, Zaria, Port Harcourt, Yenegua, Warri, Asaba. What I hear Nigerians telling me on a daily basis in my on the field is that the economy is down and things are really hard on them.
Well, Mr. Ihua, it's obvious you're still on the field based on what we heard from your office over the weekend, that after this interview, you're likely getting back on the road as far as your job is concerned. Now, let's lock it down into one key area in terms of anti-corruption, the pillar, as it were, the backbone of the current administration. The president talked about it before he campaigned. He talked about it during his campaign. He's got into the office. He hasn't moved an inch as far as the anti-corruption campaign is concerned. What's the reading? What's the mood across the country as far as where we are 1 year down the line?
I'll say the mood is currently average. As you can see, the score for anti-corruption is 45. But I also think anti-corruption and national security has been very good strong points for the president. His score for national security is 48. I mean, I was personally in Maiduguri 2 weeks ago, and I was also in Damaturu and in Yola and in Jalingo. What I hear Nigerians telling me is that they now feel a sense of better security. Things have sort of improved security-wise. The military and the security forces have done a great job in the area of security. However, on the economic side of things are really down. If I tell you some of the stories I hear on the field, you'll be shocked. For example, missing pots of food from people's stoves. You come to your kitchen and you find out that your pot of soup is missing. A lot of stories that tell you about where people are economically at the moment. A lot of people have lost their jobs, and the impact of the economy is really hitting hard on the people.
Now, where is the president getting the most support at the moment?
Well, he's still getting support from his home base, of course, of Northwest. Northwest is currently 61%, which is the highest approval for him, followed by the Northeast, where he's getting 59%. But even the North Central, which used to be really high, has dropped down to about 34%. The Southwest, which was also one of his strong bases, especially in supporting his election bid, he was 84% at the beginning of when this poll started, but currently he's ranked 30%. But those areas like the Southeast, where in the early days there was some sort of, okay, it's new, let's give the president some opportunity. He was ranking about 81%. He's been 71%. He's currently been rated about 8%. So we see the disparity there. But quickly, Boston, if I may point out something, that there are opportunities that this government can explore, especially in the area of agriculture. Agriculture can create jobs. Agriculture can create power. Agriculture can improve the productive life of Nigerians. We have massive arable lands that are untapped. For example, the road between Maiduguri and Damaturu, we have a huge expanse of arable land. Between Damaturu and Potiskum, we have a huge expanse of arable land. Between Kano and Zaria, we have huge expanse of. I understand that last week the Minister of Agriculture released a new policy document on agriculture.
Yeah, Dr. Ihor. Dr.
Yes,
Beliwa, I'm sorry to cut in there. You touched on agriculture. We'll be talking about that later in the program. If you have the time, stick around and hear that out from Dr. Patrick on wellness.
Now.
Thank you very much. We need to take a break right now. We appreciate your coming. We'll be back in 1 minute.